Hello everybody, Ace here, giving it to you straight with day 69 of the Video Log Challenge, and today I wanted to talk to you all about trials and tribulations, and what are they, and how do we overcome them? Now, I was listening to this book that was turned into an audiobook that they put on YouTube. It was a Archangel Michael channeling that this guy, I keep forgetting his name. I'll put the link in the description below, but this guy's voice is amazing. So the book was pretty long. He did it in 39 different sections. They're about, I'd say, anywhere between 5 and 15 minutes long. And so you can listen to them in chunks. And it talks all about the Ascension process and kind of what we've been going through these last couple of years. And I found it very activating for me. It resonated a lot. It validated a lot of what I was going through. And then at the same time, it brought me new insights into some of these things that I've been looking into and thinking about as well. And one of those things is talking about trials and tribulations. And what the guy said, or what Archangel Michael said in the video or in the recording, said that trials and tribulations are nothing more than an illusion or misapplication of energy or thought. Now, I found that very, very interesting because my whole life has felt like one constant roller coaster of trial and tribulation that we overcome, and then we gain the experience, and then we have a little bit of a lull period to reintegrate everything we learned, or integrate and then reintegrate everything we learned or discovered, again, remembered, and then we go back into the dungeon battle, we go back into life, and then the universe and God throws another challenge at us. And what I've come to understand is I thought that this was just how it was, and this is the roller coaster, and it's going to be good and it's going to be bad. But I'm starting to understand that regardless of what the human vehicle is experiencing in the moments, right? It could be discomfort, could be stress, could be anger, it could be any of those things. We are not this human vehicle. We are the one in charge of it. And if we can take ourselves back and remove ourselves from this idea that these are our trials and tribulations, we can then begin to see what they were saying when they said a trial and tribulation is nothing more than an illusion or misapplication of energy or thought. And as soon as I listened to them say that, I even think I hit rewind to listen to it again. It stopped me real quick and it all made sense. It's, again, another illusion of the 3D. It's an illusion of separation. It's a fear that we're going through something that we can't go through, and that's when we get stressed out about it, and that's when we start creating narratives and storylines about what it is. But it also is part of the human experience. I mean, I don't think it would be worth doing this as much as we have, if you believe what I believe, where we've lived thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of lives just on this planet doing this Earth Saga experiment. Without that tumultuous, up and down, dramatic 3D experience that we've had to come through to come into this life, and then finally remember and start to complete our ascension, without those trials and tribulations that we experienced, it wouldn't be so romantic. It wouldn't be so glorious. It wouldn't be so difficult and challenging. And so we, over the last, I'd say, 50, 60 years, when we really looked for comfort, we looked for peace, we looked for stability externally and superficial ways, we began to compromise our spirits for our creature comforts. And what that's created now is a multiple generations, 4 or 5 generations now, potentially, 4 or 5 generations now, that they can't deal with. We can't deal with conflict. We can't deal with issues. We can't deal with things not happening. That's what we have constructed in our mind's eye, the perfect, ideal, idyllic utopia of an experience in every now moment. And when we're not in that utopian, blissed out experience in every now moment, without doing all of the human trial and tribulation work to get there, we end up finding ourselves spinning our wheels, getting upset, not getting anywhere, getting sick, and all of the decay that comes with not being aligned with your spiritual purpose and not having access to your higher self, because we're becoming the trial and tribulation we're going through instead of just being in that trial and tribulation, taking that step back as the observer, seeing what moves need to be made, seeing what lessons are coming at us that we need to pick up, and then having the self-care and the self-love to go retreat for a little bit within ourselves, then to assimilate all of that knowledge, all of that wisdom, so that we can then take it with us further on this journey, because it's not going to end, not even just in this form. This is just another stop along the way. And again, if you've been here as long as I feel like I have been, I don't know for sure, of course, but what I just feel in my heart of hearts and my soul of souls is I have been doing this for a while, potentially since Lumeria. You know, if you believe in reincarnation, and if you believe in the way soul growth occurs, soul evolution occurs, sojourning, it's called, I think, sojourning. You have to go through and live that many lives in that many forms in order to get it right. So going back to the trials and tribulations idea, and it being an illusion or a misapplication of energy or thought, when we become that trial or that tribulation, we are no longer that higher perspective. We are now in the sauce, and we now are a part of everything that's coming on. And that's when our ego starts to make those knee-jerk reactions, and that's when we don't really feel that great, and everything starts spinning, and that's when chaos is allowed to kind of creep in, is because we're no longer flying, being the hawks, flying above the fray, flying above the veil, flying above that 3D dense emotional chaos of fear and separation and panic and pain and anger and all those emotions. We get lost in the sauce. That's what that statement is. When you get lost in the sauce, is you get lost in the density of the third dimension. You get lost in the groupthink. You get lost in the fear. You get taken by the storylines and the narratives, and you become what it is you're trying to fly above. And at that point, you're just along for the ride. And so the only way we can learn to fly above the trial and tribulation, and just see it as a lesson and a challenge and move through it, do the best we can, go back, retreat, assimilate the information, and see what did we do well, what could we have improved for next time, and then we move forth onto our next dungeon battle. Because if we're facing a trial and tribulation, it's because we need to, and it's most likely not the last time we're going to face that trial and tribulation. That's why self-introspection is so important, and that's a way of getting out of the trial and tribulation and detaching from the human emotions and the human narratives and storylines that we create, to come into that higher perspective, that our higher self, that oversoul fractal, to see the battlefield above the fray, above the veil, and go, where's the best move, and how do we do it, when do we do it? And then you just listen to your inner self. You start to trust that it's guiding you in the best direction for your highest benefit at all times. And the more you surrender into that, and the more you let go of the idea of being the trial and tribulation and being the observer, now presence in that trial and tribulation, is how you move through those trials and tribulations, to where they're no longer even trials and tribulations. They are now just challenges on the journey, and you actually begin to look forward to them, because every time that you face your trials and tribulations from the higher perspective, from your higher self, and don't get pulled into the sauce and become one with it, that is when you grow the most, and that is when you really see who you've become and who you really are and what you're really about, and that is being the master. And so what this book is all about, that got me to today's video of trial and tribulation, is all about the path of becoming an ascended master, which I believe is the goal of Starseeds right now, especially the Starseeds that find themselves taken to wanting to create content, taken to want to lead, the healers that want to lead. What I believe is happening is we've already ascended in a life past. I believe we're an already ascended master from a life past, and now we've come back to ascend in form, to not only anchor in the light codes and raise the consciousness, to help raise the consciousness across the planet, but then also to be able to explain to those people around us and to our audience how to do it from a human lens, and translate it for people so they really understand what it is that we're talking about. Because how the Bible explains it is not for everyone, and how I explain it is not for everyone. And that's why if you are taken to this and you have been considering making content and sharing your wisdom and sharing your story, it's imperative now that you do this, because that is where we are at. That is where we are moving forward now. It's 2021. The grand conjunct is over. The time of going within will always be there, but now it's also looking to how are we going to give our gift now? We've just ascended. We're still in that ascension process. We're still letting go of old programs. We're still human. We will be healing for the rest of our lives, because the moment we're fully healed is the moment we'll just disappear into light when we choose. That's when we fully heal. And so up until then, we give our gift to humanity. And what is our gift? What is your gift? My gift is wisdom. My gift is experience. My gift is an ability to explain things and break things down Barney style, so people of all walks of life can understand it. That's the gift I've been given. I've been given gift of vision. I've been given gift of being able to take really large concepts or really large ideas and many floating parts and be able to see how they all fit together for the most efficient and effective path forward. Because that is where we're moving to in the fifth dimension. That is what Utopia really is. Utopia will not be without its challenges. Utopia will not be without its shadow or negative energies, because we need balance. But what Utopia is human beings being more efficient and effective than they've ever been before, trying to serve the whole while first serving themselves with what they need more than what they want, walking the path of being human, healing their trauma so they're not bleeding their festering wounds over everybody else, and truly serving themselves so they can serve humanity, and then we can all come together and serve one another and actually make things happen as a multidimensional species, a brand spanking newborn multidimensional consciousness species that is humanity, earthlings. Connect with our brethren in the middle earth, gain access to the light cities that are across the world, and really start to gain access to our history and our knowledge and our wisdom, and help all of humanity remember that they are all ascended beings. We are all fallen angels. We all chose to answer the clarion call at this time to help Mother Gaia ascend back up to the seventh dimension. So what is a trial and tribulation? Let's recap. A trial and tribulation is nothing more than an illusion or a misapplication of energy or thought, which means that if we're spending our time fretting, spinning our wheels, getting upset, depressed, and we're becoming that trial and tribulation, whatever it is that we're having to go through at this time, and we're not being the ascended version of ourselves, the higher self that we've gained access to, the oversoul that we gained access to, and now we've become just the human again, and the human needs us to rise above, because the human's got it down here, man. And if we keep taking care of the human will take care of us. But that means we also need to then take that higher perspective, because we don't need everyone down in the sauce getting lost anymore, do we? I don't want to get lost in the sauce anymore, and I know you all don't either. So I really love you all, and I really appreciate you all tuning in today for a rather long video. I didn't expect it to be this long, but it ended up being pretty good. So I hope you get a little bit further on your path today. I hope you gain a little bit more clarity on your journey, and I hope you can bring in a little bit more love into your heart so you can finally fly above the bullshit, fly above the veil, and realize that trial and tribulation is nothing more than an illusion or misapplication of energy or thought. And with that, if you liked what you've seen, hit the like button. If you want to join the Army of Energy, hit that subscribe button. If you want to email me, the link's in below. I really appreciate you all. I hope you have a wonderful day, an even better evening, and I will see you at the same time tomorrow. Take care and goodbye.